All right, let's dive in. Serie A Matchday 26. We've got a lot to unpack. Upsets, blowouts, the whole 9 yards.
Yeah, it was a wild one.
Yeah, but we're not just here for the scores, right? We want to know what happened. Like, why did these things happen? Any tactical genius or maybe some hidden gems popping up?
Exactly. You got to look beyond the surface.
Absolutely. So before we get into the weeds, can you paint the big picture for us? Anything crazy in the standings? Any trends that jumped out at you?
Well, first thing, so many upsets.
Right.
It felt like the underdogs were ruling the day. But the biggest shocker, got to be Como. 2-1 over Napoli.
Wait, Como over Napoli? I mean, Napoli's been on fire this season. That's got to be the upset of the century.
It is. You'd think, oh, maybe just a fluke, right? But I think there's more to it. Yeah, Napoli's defense was off, for sure. I mean, 2 own goals. Come on. You rarely see that at this level. But, got to give credit to Como. They played smart. They were disciplined. Really shut down Napoli's game.
So it wasn't just Napoli having a bad day. Como actually earned it.
They did. They forced those errors.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see, what this does for Como going forward. Is this a turning point for them or just a one-time thing?
Right. A Cinderella story, maybe. All right, so we've got one giant slayer. Anything else that had you sweating this match day?
Oh, yeah. Torino beating AC Milan 2-1. Not as big of an upset, maybe, but still a thriller.
Right. AC Milan, not quite at Napoli's level this season, but still, a win's a win. What made this match so exciting?
Oh, man, it went back and forth. I think AC Milan's going to tie it up. They score in the 74th minute, and bam, 2 minutes later, Torino gets the winner.
Yeah.
Talk about a roller coaster.
Can you imagine being a fan in those last few minutes? Must have been insane.
Absolutely. That's what we love about this sport. It's pure drama. You're on the edge of your seat the whole time.
Okay, so 2 upsets in a row. Are we about to see a complete domination now?
Well, let's talk about Atalanta. They just crushed Empoli, 5-0. Not just a win, but a total demolition.
5 goals. Yeah, that's a statement. Yeah. What was behind that offensive explosion?
I mean, Atalanta's been attacking strong all season, but this just took it to another level. Wide players, overlapping runs, they just created chaos. And Ademola Lookman, 2 goals in this match, he's been on fire.
2 goals and a 5-0 win. Yeah, he's definitely someone to watch. Okay, so we've got upsets, we've got goals galore. What else did Matchday 26 throw at us?
Let's look at Roma. They beat Monza 4-0. Another big win, but a different kind of dominance compared to Atalanta, I'd say.
Oh, interesting. How would you compare the two? Were they both just playing out of their minds, or was it more than that?
Both teams controlled the game, yeah, but different approaches. Atalanta, high energy, just overwhelming Empoli with their attack. Roma, more calculated, they exploited Monza's mistakes, controlled the tempo.
So 2 different paths to victory, huh? I guess that's what keeps things interesting, right? You never know what to expect.
Exactly. Every team's got their own style, their own strengths and weaknesses. And any given match day, that can make all the difference.
Okay, so we've talked about some wild team performances, but any players, individuals who really stood out this match day? Any unsung heroes? Or maybe some breakout stars?
Oh, for sure. I mean, you got to hand it to Lecce's goalkeeper. They lost against Udinese, yeah, but he made some incredible saves, kept it from being a total blowout.
Yeah, even in a loss, you can still have these amazing individual performances. It's what makes football so great.
And speaking of individuals, some players are having phenomenal seasons. Anyone you're particularly excited about?
Well, Ademola Lookman at Atalanta, he's one to watch. So consistent, seems like he scores effortlessly.
Yeah, 2 goals against Empoli, right? Definitely a key part of their attack. And Atalanta's style seems to be working for them. You think they're a real contender for the title this year?
They're definitely in the mix. I mean, if they can keep up this offensive momentum, maybe tighten up the defense a bit, they could be a real threat. But, let's not forget Napoli. They had that slip up against Como, but they've been so strong all season. So even with the upset, you still see Napoli as a top contender. That's saying something.
Yeah, they've got a solid foundation, 1 loss, even a weird one like that. Doesn't change everything.
Right. It's a long season. Every team's going to have a few bumps along the way.
Speaking of bumps, Juventus barely squeezed out a 1-0 win against Cagliari. Their team with a history of dominance, but are they starting to lose their edge?
They're not the powerhouse they used to be, that's for sure. But you can never count them out completely. They still have talent, experience. This match, yeah, not pretty, but they got the win. And that shows, they can still grind out results.
It's like they're winning on grit rather than beautiful football right now. We'll see if they can find that spark again.
Yeah, resilience is there, but can they elevate their game? That's the question.
I actually think, what does it actually mean to be a great team? Is it just about winning, even if it's ugly? Or is there something more to it? That's a tough one. I mean, there are different ways to define greatness, right? Some teams, winning is everything. Others, it's about the style of play. Depends on your philosophy, what you value as a fan.
I think for me, it's got to be a balance. Winning's important, of course, but I want to see passion, creativity, a bit of flair.
I agree. There's something special about a team that combines tactical discipline with these moments of individual brilliance. That's when football becomes art.
Exactly. Athleticism, strategy, artistry, that's what makes it so captivating. So any teams this season you think embody that ideal, playing beautifully and getting results?
A few come to mind. Napoli, even with the loss, they've played some incredible football this season. The passing, the movement, it's a joy to watch.
They do seem to flow really well. What other teams are playing in a way that gets you excited?
Atalanta, as we said, all that attacking power, they play with a certain swagger, taking risks, pushing forward, makes for some really exciting matches. And then there's Inter Milan, very well-balanced team. They can be ruthless, but also elegant.
Okay, so we've got a few contenders for the most beautiful football award. But let's be real, in the end, only one team can be champion. Who do you think has the best shot at winning the Serie A title this year?
Well, that's the big question, isn't it? It's early, the race is wide open. But if I had to pick a favorite right now, I'd probably say Napoli, I think. Even with that surprise loss to Como, they've been the most consistent team this season. They've got a strong foundation, a clear tactical identity. They're hungry.
Yeah, makes sense. They've set the bar pretty high, even with that slip-up. But you mentioned other teams playing well, potential contenders, so is this going to be a tight race then?
Oh, absolutely. We've got several teams right up there, all with their own strengths. Atalanta's attack is scary good. Inter Milan, they're like a well-oiled machine. In Juventus, yeah, maybe not as flashy as they used to be, but they know how to win.
Sounds like we're in for an exciting finish to the season. Any dark horses we should be watching out for? Those teams that might surprise everyone?
Don't count out Torino. They've got this knack for pulling off upsets, a real never-say-die attitude. And Roma, if they can find some consistency, they could make a run. They've got the talent, and the manager knows how to get the best out of them.
Okay, so we've got our front runners, our contenders, our dark horses. What about the other end of the table? The relegation battle? Anything interesting happening there?
Oh, the relegation battle, it's always a nail-biter. This season's no different. Bunch of teams down there. Every point matters. Can be a tense fight to the very end.
It's like drama at every level of the league. That's what makes Serie A so great.
Yeah. You never know what's going to happen next. Keeps you coming back for more. One week a team's on top of the world. Next week they're brought back down to earth.
A good reminder that in football, like in life, nothing's guaranteed.
Exactly. Every match is a new challenge. Got to prove yourself.
And that's why we love it, right? The passion, the drama, always that sense of possibility. Serie A never disappoints. So we've covered a lot of ground today. Matches, players, potential champions. But before we wrap up, one last thought for our listeners. We've talked about tactics, results, all that, but what do you think makes a team truly great? Is it just about trophies? Or is there something more? A certain style, a connection with the fans, a legacy,
That's a deep question. I think true greatness, it goes beyond just winning trophies. It's about inspiring fans, representing your city, your region, leaving a mark on the sport. The brilliance, sure, but also the grit, the determination, that belief that makes it all possible.
Well said, and I think that's the perfect way to end this deep dive. To our listeners, as you watch the rest of the season, remember, there's more to football than just the score. Look for the stories, the individual journeys, the moments of magic that make this sport so special. Thanks for joining us for this deep dive into Serie A Matchday 26. Until next time, keep the passion alive.